I used to work the night shift at a small, out-of-the-way convenience store. You know, the kind of ones where the loudest sound for hours is just the hum of the refrigerators. It was usually dead quiet. No customers, no action, just me and the soft, grainy static of the security monitors. Nothing ever happened there. Until that one night. It was a Tuesday. I remember that because Tuesdays were always the absolute deadest nights of the week. No one for miles, no traffic, absolutely no reason for anyone to be out and about. It was exactly 1 minute past midnight when the cameras started acting up. At first, it was subtle. A little flicker on camera 3, the one aimed at the empty parking lot. Then camera 4, which watched the back hallway, just went completely black. My first thought was maybe a storm was rolling in, some electrical interference. But when I stepped outside to check, the sky was crystal clear. Not a breath of wind, not a single sound. It was unnervingly still. When I went back inside, the image on the monitor had changed. Camera 3 was now showing something it definitely shouldn't have been. A man. He was standing perfectly still, right at the edge of the parking lot, just beyond the reach of the overhead lights. He was facing the store. There was no car nearby, no sign of how he got there. He wasn't moving at all, just standing. I squinted at the monitor, trying to make out any details. The image quality was terrible, grainy and distorted, like an old VHS tape you'd find in your parents' attic. The man was tall and thin, dressed in dark clothes, but his face, it was no face. It's just a pale, indistinct blur where his features should have been. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a glitch in the feed, or the light was reflecting off something in a weird way. But when I looked out the front door again, he was gone. The parking lot was as empty as it had been all night. I felt a little relieved, but also deeply unsettled. I walked back to the monitors, my heart thumping a bit faster than usual. And that's when I saw him again. He was closer now, right at the glass door, his blurred face seeming to stare directly in. But here's the part that still makes my skin crawl. When I looked up from the counter with my own eyes, there was no one there. The doorway was empty. Only the camera could see him. I just stood there, staring at the screen, my mind racing, trying to make sense of it. It felt like an eternity passed, but the clock on the wall ticked over to 12:14 a.m. On the monitor, the figure raised its hand, and it pointed. Not at the store, not at the door, but directly at camera 1, the one that was pointed right at me behind the register. The instant he pointed, every single monitor went dark. The lights in the store flickered violently, buzzing and humming, then plunged me into near darkness. And from somewhere behind me, from the empty aisles, I heard the faintest, coldest whisper. It was my name. I spun around so fast I nearly fell. There was nothing. Just rows of chips and candy bars, bathed in the cold, flickering emergency lights. But when I turned back to the bank of dead screens, one of them had flickered back to life. It wasn't showing the store anymore. It was showing my apartment. The camera angle. It looked like it was from inside my own bedroom, positioned in a corner, looking straight at my bed. I froze. I lived alone. Panic finally kicked in. I didn't think. I just reacted. I ripped the power cords from the wall, yanked the cables out of the monitors, trying to shut it all down. But the screen stayed on. The grainy static just kept playing, as if the power didn't even matter. And then, a second figure appeared on the screen. It was me. A version of me, standing beside my own bed, looking down at my sleeping form. I don't remember the rest of that night clearly. It's a black hole in my memory. The store manager told me he found me at 5 in the morning, standing outside in the parking lot, just staring up at the sky. I have no memory of how I got there. He said they checked the CCTV recordings from that night, but every single file after midnight was corrupted. All of them, except one. A single 15-minute clip, time-stamped from 12 o'clock to 12:15 a.m. In that clip, you can see me behind the counter, just staring intently at the monitors. Nothing seems out of the ordinary until suddenly I look up as if I see something just off screen that startles me. And then I smile. A wide, unnatural smile that doesn't reach my eyes, but I don't remember smiling. And the part that truly haunts me. If you look closely at the reflection in the glass door behind me, it doesn't smile back. My reflection just watches, motionless. I quit that job the very next day. I couldn't set foot in that store again. I moved out of my apartment, changed my phone number, did everything I could to just start over and forget. For a while, it worked. Life was quiet. Until last week. I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. There was no subject line, no message in the body. Just a single video attachment. It was labeled after midnight _CCTV. MP4. My hands were shaking, but I had to know. I opened it. It wasn't the store footage. It was my new apartment. The timestamp in the corner read 12 o'clock a.m. And as the video played, I watched myself sleeping in my new bed. Then, from the darkest corner of the frame, the same pale, faceless figure from the parking lot stepped into view. It moved slowly, silently, until it was leaning close to the camera, to my phone screen. And then it whispered, in my own voice, "You shouldn't have watched the tape." The video cuts out at exactly 12:14 a.m., and every night since. Without fail, my TV turns on by itself at exactly that time. First, it's just static. And then, through the noise, an image forms. It's me staring back from the screen. And I'm always, always smiling. Thanks for sticking with me through that story. If you like tales that make you want to sleep with the lights on, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there, and maybe don't watch any strange video files. I'll see you in the next one.